What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. So today we're gonna kind of take it back old school videos I used to do back in the days. We're always gonna go back to the foundation. Uh, I'd like to get away from it. I don't like just doing stuff on prison. That's why I try to bounce around and do different things and hope something catches that's not gonna just be about prison. But at the end of the day, people really seem to enjoy my prison stories and my youth authority stories. I always trip out on the fascination with prison because I can tell you that as an ex-convict and somebody who did, you know, with state time, counting YA and prison, almost 30 years, 27 years, over 27 years I gave the state, right? I don't like hearing about prison. And unfortunately, when I do, uh, I tend to catch the discrepancies immediately, and I don't know, it's a thing. But anyways, what I wanted to talk about today is fear. Men don't like to. Well, I can't say that. Individuals don't like to admit to fear, to having felt fear, and to me, that's not manly. That's why I corrected myself when I said men don't like to admit to having fear. That's an insecurity right there. That's a fear in itself, not being able to say, yeah, I was afraid of this. Or, fear is a really good thing. Fear, if you feel fear about something, doesn't matter what it is. But if you feel fear about something and it's related to a bad thing, it means you got a conscience still. So that's a good thing. You're not a psychopath, right? When I look back at my life, there was only a few times where uh, related to jail where I felt fear. And it's an unfortunate thing, because when someone loses the fear of something, then that thing that they no longer fear can become a habit. You know, the first time I ever went to juvenile hall, I had some fear because I was a little dude, little skinny guy, right? But I was well known. And I knew that I didn't have any homeboys in juvenile hall at the time, right? And so I was like, when they busted me, I remember being in the cell, man, and they were letting people out, and I was like, holy shit, who the hell is here? And I know, so those of you not aware of how things were in Santa Barbara, it's different now. I don't, but the neighborhood, my neighborhood, the West Side, was enemies with everybody. Back during my era, a lot of the barrios were clicking up together, especially East Side and Goleta. They were clicking up together in order to. I don't want to say it, but they were having to click up together, right? And so going to juvenile hall, I knew it didn't matter who it was; they were my enemy. And I remember just thinking like, damn, man, I'm gonna get jumped. I'm gonna get smashed right now. Fuck. And when the Huda came to my door and he's like, "You want day room?" I jumped up. Hell yeah, I want day room. Because you're not gonna let nobody know. You know what I'm saying? And I went out there ready, like, it's on. And I remember they looked at me and they just like, it was nothing. And juvenile hall became nothing for me. When I went to camp, that was another time where I was like, damn. Another time. There was a bunch of us in juvenile hall waiting to go to camp, but I was the only one going. And again, the thing with my neighborhood when it came to camp is we never stayed. We always escaped. I only know of a handful of dudes from my neighborhood that went and actually stayed. And we used to make fun of them. Like, what the fuck? There's no fence. There's no wall. You are in the mountains, so there's mountain lions and shit, right? But I was like, this shit don't make no sense. I'm going to stay somewhere where I can just, call somebody to pick me up or get to a certain spot and get a ride or whatever. So I knew going to camp that I was going to be by myself. Again, I went up there, and in our camp, Los Prietos back then, man, people were giants, huge. You could get up to thirds when you were eating. They would call seconds. Everybody got seconds. Sometimes you could get thirds, and they had the Olympic weights in the dorm. Then they had weights down on the bottom of the Z Trail, and dudes were huge. Again, here comes my skinny little ass, and everybody's my enemy. And I went up there, and again, they didn't do nothing. So I was like, huh. Because of those two incidents, unfortunately, I wasn't afraid to go to YA. Because I realized no matter where you go, it's just jail, you know? And I notice a lot of times we make things bigger than what they are in our minds, right? Now, I want to talk about the joint. Anybody who's done a pegada, anybody that's whacked anybody in prison, and if they tell you they never had fear, especially on the first one, that they never had fear, if they're not a liar, they're a complete psychopath. They have zero conscience. I don't know about other systems. I don't know about any other prison systems, right? But I know California. You can be killed by a correctional officer for a fist fight because the way you might be hitting somebody, it may seem like there's a weapon in your hand. The gun tower could be far away. He's going to dump on you. Now, New Folsom used to have a policy. There's a couple of COs that watch me or ex-COs that watch me. I know personally, I know who they are. I don't put them out there, but they were in New Folsom and they could correct it. You know, they can get at me, DM or whatever. But there used to be a policy in New Folsom, and it was treacherous. New Folsom, if somebody was getting whacked, the tower cop would shoot the guy getting whacked. To break up the thing, they would shoot the victim. They wouldn't shoot the aggressor. And the reason being was this. They said, you're already whacking him, so he can't be in good standings. If we shoot the aggressor, that person's faction may want to come after COs. So they break up the thing, and they don't get a retaliation for it. That's the cold reality of prison. You know, when I do these stories, you know, when people wonder, you know, oh, why you hate Wes Watson? I don't hate Wes Watson. But like I've said in other videos, you know, all the lying that he does, I mean, blatant lies. If his intent is to scare people, the truth is bad enough. Prison is not a fun place to be. So I don't ever add no salsa. It is what it is. Unfortunately, I was around a lot of violence in prison, so I don't have to tell stories. I think maybe if somebody did their time where they didn't see any violence, then that's what's going to happen. They're going to make stuff up. They're going to tell other people's stories, and because they don't know the details, they start adding details that make zero sense. I want to say, when it comes to doing a pegada in California, in our prison system out here, again, just about every single place you go, you're under gun coverage. See, people will talk about, in San Quentin, there was more murders. In Old Folsom, there were more murders. There were. And in San Quentin and Old Folsom, there was way, 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 way less guards that killed convicts because there were blind spots. There were places you could go. You know, there were places you can handle your business without the gunner on you. Once they made these 180s, you knew anywhere you were going to move on somebody, there's gun coverage. Even running into somebody's cell, the cops can see right into the cell. There's only a couple cells where the cops in the tower can't see into, but they can still shoot into them. So getting back to it, when you're going to do a pegada, right, when you're going to whack somebody, you have at least a few hours notice, depending. You know, a lot of times they're gonna get at you the day before. Hey, homie, will you do us a favor? Yeah, what's up? Boom, we need you to do. And you, okay, yeah. And most of the time, they're gonna tell you who it is because they're gonna give you that time to be able to see the Vatos program. You know, does he go work out? Just give you time to orchestrate your plan, and they're gonna tell you who's going with you because it's gonna be two dudes. And so you'll go back to your cell and you are gonna visualize. You know how you see like the Olympians, they're visualizing their gymnastics, what they're gonna do. You see them doing all these weird hand gestures and stuff. They're visualizing what their routine is. While smart convict is gonna do that when he's thinking about the pegada, the guy he's got to whack. Um, you're gonna visualize. Okay, boom. This is where I want to hit him. This is where I want to move on him at. This spot here because I know he does this and that. And the one thing you will never not take into account is the gun towers. Um, and that's the most frustrating part of getting ready to do a pegada, getting ready to whack somebody in there. It's how can I get myself in the perfect position to do the most damage? Because you're not trying to get away at all. You're just going to be, trying to get him in a position where maybe you can put him between you and the gun. Unfortunately, on a 180 yard, there's gunners on every building, and you're going to have 4 buildings checking you out and the central tower. But I can tell you this for sure. Once you get out there and you get linked up with the dude that's going with you, you guys chop it up, make sure you're on the same page. Once you take that first step, like you could be bullshitting, all right, let's go, let's get him right now. Once that decision is made, I promise you there's no more anxiety. There's no fear. It's all about business. I can tell you myself personally, when I did pegadas, you kind of get tunnel vision. Okay, I got to handle this. And I remember a pegada I did one time. And it was gonna have to be a kamikaze one. It was done in R&R, right? And there was gonna be somebody that was supposed to get transferred or transpacked to another facility with me, and it was weird because he was an older cat, healthy, big dude, and apparently he had heart issues or something, and I noticed he was nervous. I said, don't even worry about it, eh? I said, just follow me. Just kick him one time. I got this. Somehow he didn't get escorted to R&R with me. I guess they were going to get him later. And as soon as they took my cuffs off, I saw the dude that needed to get it very bad. And I jumped on him and did my thing. At that point, there was no fear because that wasn't my first one. Usually it's the first one, but there is always going to be some anticipation. Me being in R&R, there was no gun coverage. So I knew I'm going to have my way with this. And I didn't expect every single responding officer to step on a different body part of mine, though. It was amazing. Even the cops were telling me after, like, I've never seen so many COs step on one person. They were standing on my neck, my hands, my elbows, my ankles, the back of my knee. It was crazy. It was crazy. But anyways, I just wanted to touch on that, man. That to remind people, fear is not a bad thing, eh? And being a man, you can admit to having fear. Fear that you can control, that doesn't control you, is an asset. It'll keep you alive. So with that, everybody, please stay safe, stay smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, right? I'm out of here.